Hi everybody, it's Paul here, and as you can probably tell by the title, I've bought a new car, a BMW M4. Woo! Is it good? Is it worth buying? I'll give you a rundown of ownership and the same kind of thing as any other car video really. What's good about it, what's not good about it, some external shots, what's good of the interior, blah blah blah. I hope you like it. Hi guys, so as you can see, and as you know now, I bought a BMW M4. It's not just any M4, most of them are DCT automatics. This one's actually a manual. I want to switch from automatic to manual. I've been driving automatics for a few years now. Of the last Audis I've had, the Audi S5, which I did a similar review on, and I wanted to just change it up a little bit, get back into manual cars. So I found this wonderful BMW M4, and yeah, it's been great. I've got a lot to say about it and how it compares to the Audi S5 if anybody's interested. So I'm just going to share my thoughts. Like I say, it's a manual, it's a bit of a rare car. There's not many, especially alpine white manual M4s kicking around, so hopefully it'll be insightful if you're going to buy one. So hope you enjoy it. So one of the key reasons why I bought this car is the styling. I love the way the M4 looks. It's not perfect from all angles, but from the majority of angles it looks really cool. From the double grille, the big open, which has a really impressive stance to it. Love that. The wing mirrors. Just as a entire car, I think it all flows nicely from the line along here, across the side vents to, like I say, the bumper at the front, the bulging bonnet, which it's known for, the carbon fibre roof, these 19-inch rims, which are okay. Prefer the competition pack 666 wheels for them, but they're okay, not bad. And the spoiler on here looks really cool. Quad exhaust, of course, on the M4. You got a few badges, as you've probably already seen. But as an overall design, I love the car. It's from the wing mirrors and vents, the bulging bonnet, the carbon fibre roof. Really cool car. So from an external styling point of view, what's to love, what's not to love, apart from what I've just pointed out? I think this is important. If you're going to buy one of these, you've got to get a spoiler on there. It just really helps the back end look a bit more aggressive. I think this is a must, the carbon fibre roof. It looks great. People comment on that rather than the sunroof. I think these look better black, so I still might make these, get the carbon ones, install them. And also the wing mirrors, even though the two look really nice, looking the black bit at the bottom, white at the top, I think the carbon bits on here look better, so I'll probably order some of them. Front. So I'm not a huge fan of the main splitter you can buy that goes along the bottom, but what I think I will do is buy a carbon, the double kind of splitter inserts for each side. That looks good, and I think I'll go for that. But I think this, from almost stock, the car looks really good. Quite happy with it. One angle I do not like, and I take a photo of it from the side, there's something about it that just doesn't look right. I think it's probably because of the spaces between the arch and the wheels. There's quite a space there. That's probably what it is. But from that side, it looks like it points down too much, which looks fantastic in my opinion. But hey, teach their own. I don't want to harp on too much about the external styling. I'm sure everyone knows what BMW M4 looks like, but it was a big seller for me. I really like this style. So, quick overview of the interior now. I went for this spec, the red leather. Well, actually one of the reasons I bought this car was one reason I got a great deal on it, and had the manual gearbox which I wanted, but also when I had the BMW M82 M3, had this, I think it's called Sakura red, Sakura orange leather. I love that and the white, especially when the light shines through and you can see it from the front. You're walking up with the car, it looks so cool. Yeah, so this was important, and I think it's one of the main reasons I bought the car, actually, because it had the red leather as well as the carbon fibre trim, which is really cool. So yeah, here's a manual gear knob. You've got all the infotainment system up here. I usually just have the sports display on there to see how much horsepower and torque is being used. Nice steering wheel. What I will say about the steering wheel is, if you've seen my last review on the Audi S5 I had, which had a really nice thick flat bottom steering wheel, this obviously isn't flat bottomed, but and also it's not as thick, especially around here. On the Audi it's quite thick around your hand there. You could get a really good grip on it. I just felt better in the hand, to be fair. Although the detail on the steering wheel is amazing. Again, I'm sure you're already aware, you've got the stitching on here, the M stitching, the red and blue stitching, which is really cool. Yeah, you can see the red stitching on the black there, and all the carbon fibre. And these light up, of course, at night time. Love that. It's gimmicky, but I love it. And a quick word on the tech in here. So tech's good. You've got the sports display. You've got the M buttons, of course, so you can program these guys. Obviously telephone button there, so you can talk and give directions and whatnot. You've got a little pad, dial, whatever there. And what I really like, one of my favourite features of the car is the heads-up display. And I've always got that in sports mode like that. I know it's not very visible, but you can probably, can you make it out? Oh no, yeah, there. As you rev this, it's going to tell you the revs and also the gear, which is on the right hand side. So that's really nice, like that. If you switch it back to normal mode like that, it just tells you your speed you're going, and you can also get information up within here, like kind of if you've got the nav on, it'll tell you which direction you need to go next, and if someone's calling, it'll appear there. Or if you're changing the stereo, changing the radio station, it's going to tell you there as well. So that's good. You've got the start stop button there. Let's hop out for a sec. One of the really cool features about this car, which another reason why I bought it, is the comfort access. So to lock it, you just need to press that, and then open it. You just press that, just grab the handle, and it opens. Auto folding mirrors and what have you as well. And then as soon as you go back to the car, after you've been out and about, you just grab the handle and open. Nice feature. You don't need to get a key or anything like that, so it's really handy. What else is there? Yep. Driving position. Driving position's brilliant. I'd say it's better than the Audi I had previous to this. And the seats are really nice. You've got well bolstered sides. You've got obviously the design, which looks slightly retro, where I like that. It's cool. And these are fully heated seats, and you've got loads of different controls, so you can increase bolsters from the sides, must fill up air or something like that, and then you can control different areas of it to make sure your seating position is good, and you can drop it quite low as well. So the interior, what's bad about it? I would say there's a few rattles in here now and again. There was absolutely no rattles in the Audi S5 I had. That was like a tank. Don't get me wrong, when you get in this car, you really do feel like it's well built and put together, and you feel secure. I think the seats are better than the previous Audi I had. I think they hold in place more, but there is a slight rattle coming from down there. So I'm going to get the car serviced soon and MOT'd, and I'll be finding out what that is. This kind of looks a little bit cheap in my opinion. The screen's good, I like the screen, but maybe this looks a bit cheap. What else? Yes, this is a bad feature here. When you get your coffees in, you've got to pull this out, chuck it to one side, get away, and then put your coffee in, and then put this back in. I like things to look neat and tidy, and this doesn't look neat and tidy when you take it out. So quickly touching on practicality now, you've got this little lever here, you pull, push the seat forward, and then that gives you access to the back seats. And jump in here, let's have a look how much space I've got. I like my seat quite far back, and I've got enough leg room there. These seats are nice and comfortable. There's not much going on in the back. In other cars you could pull this bit down and do this kind of cup holders and whatnot, but none of that in here. It's quite basic to say the least. But what is good about this is it's practical. I've got my seat quite far back there, and I can easily get my son in here and my friends and things like that without any problems. And yeah, boot size, let's have a quick look at that if I can get out. So the boot is quite big. It's probably just the same as the Audi S5 I had. I managed to get quite a lot in there, take stuff to the tip, and going on holiday with suitcases is not a problem. So one of the things you need to be aware of when buying this car, especially regarding the sound, is something called cold start. When the car essentially is just trying to warm up as fast as possible and creates this loud, vibrating lawnmower-like sound for a couple of minutes whilst the car tries to heat up as quickly as possible. So if you've got, if you live in a neighbourhood where there's a lot of neighbours surrounding you, you want to hope that they're forgiving neighbours and they're laid back, because it is quite loud and it does sometimes vibrate buildings. So this is how it sounds. The actual driving settings of the car, so with these cars, it's the party trick really, the M3 and M4. You've got, these driving buttons here, so you can configure the traction control. You can have it totally off, MDM mode on, which is half, or totally on. And you've got the throttle, which is efficient, sport and sport plus, and then you've got the suspension again, very similar, 3 settings on that, and also the steering. And then you program these buttons here, and you can say you've got the sports there, and then my M2, I've got a different setting for that. My settings, we'll show you that. We've got M1, press that, and that goes into sports, comfort and comfort. So it's sport for throttle, comfort for suspension, and comfort for steering. That's my favourite everyday driver setting. So that's what I have on most of the time. I find that it's perfect. This throttle's not too sharp. I can kind of control the back end still, but I can step on it and really push on if I want to go for a blast. The suspension's always stiff. You can't do anything about that, I don't think. It's always pretty rigid in this car, which it's meant to be a sports car, so, and a track car and things like that. So I guess that's fitting for the type of car it is. And then, like I mentioned, the steering's fine and that. But yeah, M2 setting, however, if I press M2, I need to confirm that the traction's going to go off, semi-off, and there we go. So I've got MDM, so there's a little bit of slip. I've got the throttle in Sports Plus, the suspension in Sport, and then the steering in Comfort as well. So with that setting, it's really easy to throw the back end out. Efficiency mode, I haven't mentioned that yet. When I first got the car, I was a little bit concerned about fuel. My last Audi S5 was absolutely terrible on fuel. I was filling that up quite a lot. With this, I put it in efficiency mode to test it. Didn't buy the car to drive it frugally. But efficiency mode, I thought, oh, save some money, especially on long drives with the family and all. But I found that in efficiency mode, it's almost like there's something that dulls the engine down a bit. I just feel, especially if you're going through the driving settings, the throttle response, and you go from even just sports mode. If you go from sports mode to efficiency, you just feel like there's lag on the engine, and it doesn't seem to save any fuel either. I drive around in sports mode all the time, well, pretty much all the time, and that compared to efficiency mode, there's barely any difference at all. So that's another thing to bear in mind. If you do get this and you think, oh, put it in efficiency and they'll save money on fuel, I don't think the chances are you're not. You just keep it in sports mode, have some fun with it, and this thing is amazing on fuel. Okay, so now we're going to go for a drive and talk about the sound of this car when you're driving it, and just the general power surge it has, how it feels when you put your foot down, things like that. Hopefully I can capture the sound a little bit within this video. So here we go. So when you drive this car, every time I get in this car I need to do a number of different things, which is a little bit annoying. I've got to turn the start stop off, that's number one. I've got to press M1 to put it in my favourite driving setting, which is sports mode and comfort for suspension and steering. And always put the heating seats on because I live in England, it's still a winter and it's bloody freezing here. So there's a few things I need to do before actually driving the car. It can be a bit annoying putting all the different settings on when you're ready to drive the car rather than just jumping in and you're ready to go, but it's not a big deal. So right now it's wet, it's a wet day. I've got the car in sports mode. I've got the traction left on. And I'm about to hit a straight here where I can put my foot down a little bit and hopefully we can get some noise to come through. So, foot down in a second. Maybe you heard that, maybe you didn't. But there's a kind of, you hear a whooshing of the turbos a lot, the spooling. You kind of sound. When you downshift, you hear whoop, and then you hear the whooshing there, and it does pop and bang now and again, but not that often. You've got to really floor it to make the exhaust pop. Here we go. That's the back end sliding out there. Put sports mode on. Do sports plus this time. The wheels will spin like hell when I put my foot down, but and there's the back end spinning out, wriggling. You can feel the car wriggling around. So a little
little bit of a pop there, don't know if you heard it, but a bang when you start hitting the higher revs in second gear. So here we go, second gear, put my foot down. And downshift down to second again. It's a wet day today, like I said before, and you know, there's, when you put your foot down in second, there is a little bit of a wriggle of the back wheels, which can be expected, but actually it's putting the power down quite well today, despite it being quite wet. So on a dry day, it does grip obviously much better, and it does feel like it's going a lot faster as it grips and you're off. But yeah, hopefully that has given you an insight into how this manual M4 sounds, because I'm sure there's differences between the DCT and manual, and there's a lot of reviews out there for the DCT and how it sounds from stock. And there aren't that many reviews for how the manual sounds, and obviously the way a car sounds is so important. There it goes again. Back end wriggles and then you shoot off. It's so exhilarating to drive, I think it's fantastic. So you can have a lot of fun in these cars. Gotta watch the back end, like I said, but there's a lot of power. Sounds okay. It's not the best sounding car. You can easily mod this car to force the exhaust valves open and it sounds loud all the time. I've already done that. I had it like that for about 3 months, and I switched it back just to see again what it was like just in stock, and to be able to do this review and give a better impression of it. When the power comes on in this car, you can really feel there's this tiny little bit of lag. It's not a big amount of lag. You want to go obviously from first into second, and with the manual, the first gear is so short. If you want to do a quick wheel spin in first gear, yes, that's okay, but you're pretty much pushing hard in second gear, and you can rev it really high through all the different gears, and it's got power through all the gears. Even in sixth gear on the motorway, put your foot down and you still get you can still feel the torque. Which is a big improvement over other cars I've had, like the Audi S5, which when you had in sports mode and lower gears, yes, it was fast, it felt quick, but it didn't feel fast throughout all different gears, and also it wasn't fast throughout the whole rev range. I think this has quite a lot of power throughout all the gears and throughout the rev range. I think that's where this car really comes into its own. But yes, when you do put your foot down, you do get you hear the turbo spooling, there's a bit of a whooshing sound, and you can kind of feel this almost like an unpredictable power surge about to hit those rear wheels, which is really exciting, and it keeps you super focused on what you're doing in the car. So, as I've already pointed out, I bought the manual. I wanted to give a manual car another shot, and so I didn't go for the DCT, I went for the manual version of this, thinking that I'd be more engaging and just more involved when driving the car. Has it been that? I think so. I've really enjoyed driving this manual. I'll confess, it took me a good week or two to really get used to it, and to be able to get off the line smoothly. There was a little bit of kangarooing and things like that, I'm not going to lie. But once I got the settings down, really smooth, really enjoy it. One thing I had to do is, one of the little mods I've done on it so far, is the clutch stop. So I've put a little clutch stop in, just below the clutch pedal, which just makes the bite, the bite's the same place, but there's not as much distance for the clutch to go down. Beforehand, when I got the car, it seemed like the clutch was really long. So that, by putting that in place, that's really helped. Is what's the back end like? Does it come out all the time? Is it snappy like people say it is? And bearing in mind this is a 2014 car, which is supposed to be the worst for the spiky acceleration and the back end having traction issues. So what do I think? It's really unusual. I would say I had this car for about a month and I didn't have any traction issues. Did hardly put miles on, so it's definitely not the tyres. There's still plenty of tread in the tyres, and most of the time I do drive with traction on. I think it was after the first maybe 3 weeks to a month when it was a bit wet, and then I went around the corner and the back end came out. Don't get me wrong, it didn't spin out or anything like that, but it did step out, and I was like, wow, it took us by surprise a little bit. And since then, there's been a few occasions, even when the traction's been on and semi-dry days, when I went round tight roundabouts and I've literally drifted around the roundabout. And as soon as you accelerate off, you're like, wow, that was interesting. But the good thing is, with the back end, like I say, is it's really fun. If I'm travelling to work by myself or coming home, I'll put it in M2, MDM mode, and I can throw the back end around, no cars or anything like that. And it's one of the things that actually, compared to any other car I've had, makes me want to drive this every day. It's so exciting to drive. I really love it. And it's, like I say, it is a little bit unpredictable. You've got to be careful what you do. I know a few people who's wrote these cars off, so that's just testament to how dangerous they can be. So it's a good and bad thing, that's how I can put it, but at the same time it's a really exciting car to drive. Okay, so final thoughts on the BMW M4. Should you buy one? Should you get it in a manual or DCT? I can't answer that question, but what I can say is, if you want a well-built rear-wheel drive, powerful, solid manual car which is very driver focused, you can step the back end out, it looks amazing from outside, the interior's quality, then this could be the right choice. The price on these is coming down gradually. The new M4 is meant to be released, I think it's later this year, or I think it's next year. I think it's later this year actually. So I would say keep your eye on the price coming down more. I got a good deal on this, and I'm sure there's other good deals to be had. Like I say, it looks good from the outside. It's not too boy racerish with ridiculous spoilers and things that just look ridiculous. It's quite, it's special, but it's a little bit subdued at the same time, compared to some other cars out there, GTR and things like that. I think it strikes the right balance, especially with the price point. The manuals sell a little bit cheaper than the DCT, so if you are looking for a manual, then you're probably going to get a better deal with one of these as well. It's a great car. I'll be looking to keep a hold of this as long as I can, I think. I'll do some other mods on top of what I've already done. The mods I've currently done, which I haven't mentioned in this video, which I think are essential if you do buy it, which you need to factor in for your budgeting, or you need to change that chrome grille on the front. You've got to get a black grille on there because the chrome one, it doesn't look good. I think the spoiler on the back, when I bought it, that was already on the car, so I didn't mod that myself. But that rear spoiler makes it look so much better. The clutch stop, if you're buying a manual, be aware that, especially in this particular car, it's a 2014 model, be aware that there's a lot of distance in the clutch. So there's quite a few things that you probably want to mod from standard. I've still got a servicing to get done next month, and I've got an MOT coming up ASAP as well, so I'll be reporting back on if the car has any issues and things like that. But if you've got any questions or want to ask anything, just give me a shout and I'll be happy to help.